the development of aortic transcatheter aortic valve is quite nice to see that despite the fact that we have reached a high level of TAVI success in terms of outcomes, mortality, morbidity, and so on. It's quite nice to see there's still investment into new technology. I was particularly pleased to see the good preliminary results of the Jena valve, as it is the only CE-marked device for treatment of aortic regurgitation on the market at the moment, but now also in the transfemoral access device application, which from my point of view, of course, is an additional advantage because it reduces morbidity and trauma to patients. I think it is maybe quite difficult to make such a big difference in the future than in the past in terms of the reduction of mortality, in terms of reduction of morbidity. And the reason why I'm saying that is that we have reached quite high levels of success, at least in the direction of hemodynamic profile, at least in the direction of paravalvular leakage. I believe that's the reason why mortality of patients is quite low these days, and success in terms of improvement of quality of life is quite high. The one area where there is still a lot to do is pacemakers. There are, of course, big differences between the devices, and we saw, for example, outcomes from the new Portico device with the subclavian or alternative kind of access, less than 5% pacemakers, which is excellent. But on the other hand, the newest development of the core valve, the Evolute Pro, still 18% pacemaker rate. That is too high from my point of view. And despite the fact that people always say, oh, that only has something to do with the implantation height of the valve, I take that point. But on the other hand, they need to demonstrate that it's possible to place the valve where it should be placed. What was also obvious that the new markets, like for example India, and the same happens in China as well, we didn't see an example of that today, they start to produce valves, and to a degree they use the knowledge we have generated over the last 10 years in Europe and North America, which is of course quite helpful because their devices seem to work relatively well in the initial kind of CE-mark trial phases. It is quite interesting from my point of view as a clinician that there is a little bit more competition on the market, because given that these valves are manufactured in countries where from the manufacturing point of view it's easier to produce price competitive products, I think that would hopefully also result in a lower cost for TAVI devices in the future in Europe and North America, which in the end will be crucial the more this kind of treatment is rolled out to a larger population.